to publicly stir opposition and controversy around the negotiated purchase price, knowing full well the negotiating team was acting under council direction and particularly being fully aware of the negotiated purchase price. The democratic process provides every member with the opportunity to bring forward views and positions and facts in order to try to persuade their colleagues through deliberation and debate to align to a common outcome. But no single member should work to undermine implementation of a council direction and decision. Given that this is not the first complaint against Councillor Bélanger, which we have found substantiated, we, in this instance, are recommending a suspension of pay. In this particular instance, we're recommending a 30-day suspension of pay be warranted. We're happy to respond to questions.
Okay, thank you for that update. Councillor Bélanger, did you wish to say anything before I open it up to council members?
Yes, I'd like to reserve the majority of my comments until after the vote, but I do have one comment and a couple of questions for the Integrity Commissioners prior to that. The first thing is you've put a lot of weight on me knowing the negotiated price. And I clearly, in information provided to you, indicated that purchase price is three components. It's a price a developer would pay for the land. It's a price a developer would pay for infrastructure that would be otherwise paid by the municipality. And it's a price they would invest in community improvements. The only element that I was aware of was that of the purchase price of the land. The rest I was totally unaware of, and I was told that the community improvement would come much later. So I was trying to establish what I felt was a fair combination of those three components. The Integrity Commissioners, seem to have not seen that argument having any merit. But the two questions I have for the Integrity Commissioners are, first, have you reviewed the Main Street Research Professional Poll questions and data? I'll take that as a no.
No, excuse me, Councillor Bélanger, through the mayor. You may not take that as a no.
Okay.
I was first, just if you would indulge me for a moment while I pull up your comments to us. I certainly don't recall your argument with respect to the components. I'm just trying to understand what you're suggesting that you advised in your comments.
I assure you it was there.
Sorry. Okay, I don't recall through the 4-page response that you provided that was part of your position to us, but nevertheless, with respect to the post that you made that we looked at, it was with regard to the calculations speculating on an appropriate purchase price.
With due respect, my post was very specific that there were three components, both the purchase price of the land, community improvement and infrastructure, and I wished our negotiating team well in coming up and doing a good job.
Did you have anything further to add, Janice?
That's, no, not really. Thank you, Your Worship. I think we're not going to dissect what the Post said at this juncture.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Belanger, you have something else to add?
Yes, my last question. Are you aware of the number of emails that have been received by every member of this council, by residents, indicating a strong desire to have more information, more input prior to the taxpayer owns lands on Beach 1 receiving a final purchase of sale agreement?
Through the Mayor, I think I'll take that as somewhat of a rhetorical question, since clearly we're not in receipt of emails that are sent to all members of council. I would say, having had the opportunity to listen to, as I referenced, many hours of closed session updates that were provided to council, and having had the opportunity to interview certainly individuals involved in as independent experts by the municipality or outside experts by the municipality, that this process is demonstrably robust and rigorous. And the work has been very impressive, certainly even from the perspective of ourselves, with 35 years observing municipalities in action. We're very impressed with the rigor with which council has approached this. So in terms of there being individuals in the community who don't necessarily appreciate or realize the hard work that's going on, over the 36 months, over the past 36 months, we note that there's been over a dozen matters publicly reported, and they're all identified on the town's own website to chronologize the work that's been done. So it's difficult. If there are a number of individuals who've sent emails that have issues, there's no doubt these matters can sometimes be controversial. But it certainly appears to us, and certainly to those we've spoken with in the course of this investigation, it is a robust and rigorous process that Wasaga Beach is going through.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Belanger, you had indicated that you're going to make more comments after the motion. As you are well aware, we read motions, and then once it's passed or defeated, we move on to the next item. So I would suggest if you have comments, now would be the appropriate time.
Well, my comments generally could be modified depending on the vote, but I will go ahead. I'm going to read to you the response I gave to the Integrity Commissioners once they indicated to me, after I had provided a tremendous amount of information, I believe that would have ended in this complaint having no merit. I'm not going to read that, but I'll read the second one. Dear Jeff and Janice, respectfully, I do not agree with your findings. In the last election, I campaigned to make Wasaga Beach a world-class place to live and a world-class tourist destination. Leading up to my posts on social media, I had been contacted by literally hundreds of upset residents that want more information and more input into the redevelopment of the taxpayer-owned Beach 1 lands prior to the finalization of a purchase of sale agreement. It is the upcoming decision of council to approve a purchase and sale agreement that I am opposing. I, alongside many Wasaga Beach residents, oppose the sale, arguing that many of the concerns raised by both the public and myself have not been addressed. It is both my right and responsibility to bring my constituents' concerns forward to council, both in meetings and in the public realm. The wording of Rule 15 is clear. Members of council shall not actively undermine the implementation of council decisions. The term decision is not defined in the Code of Conduct, nor can I find it in the Municipal Code of Conduct or anything that defines it. However, I believe it is an overreach, to say the least, to apply the term of historical process, direction, and consultation, which has involved this council. Moreover, I do not believe it is appropriate for the Integrity Commissioners to lump every part of the Beach 1 development process into the overly broad bucket of decisions and sanction me for performing my duties as a councillor as prescribed in Section 224 of the Municipal Act. In my opinion, your analysis has failed to point to a specific decision and enumerates how my post specifically undermined the implementation of that decision, whether it be in resolution or bylaw. A 2018 report authored by Bruce Ellman, Integrity Commissioner for the City of Windsor, detailed the rights of a councillor to speak openly prior to a council decision. He said, "It should be noted that councillors have plenty of opportunities prior to a decision being made by council to express their views on the merits of the proposal, and they can provide as much context as they wish and use as much hyperbole as they believe is necessary. If a councillor has particular concerns regarding an item on the council agenda, the councillor can call a press conference to express those concerns. Councillors can post their concerns on their webpage or on social media to express those concerns. Councillors can go to community groups or BIAs to rally support for their position. The councillor can even encourage citizens to become delegates of council when the matter is debated. And finally, councillors may express all of their concerns during the debate on the matter when it comes before council. Even then, after the decision is made, a councillor are free to explain why they voted the way they did during the council deliberations. They should, however, acknowledge the legitimacy of council's decisions as resulting from the deliberate and democratic process of council. They should not be disrespectful, and their comments should not be disparaging or inaccurate." Then I gave the link to the full report. As there has been no decision made with regard to the sale of land in question, I respectfully submit my posts do not violate Rule 15. I am vigorously performing my duties as a duly elected council of the town of Wasaga Beach and will continue to do so. Furthermore, as I am sure you are aware, at the start of the 2014-2018 term of council, then Deputy Mayor Nina Bifolchi and Councillor Sylvia Bray refused to sign the council's code of conduct, stating that it limited their freedom of speech. Now, the same code is being used as a weapon against me to limit my freedom of speech, which I believe is a clear violation of the rights under Section 2B of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. My closing comments to the residents of Wasaga Beach. The IC's role is to determine if there has been a breach of the Code of Conduct. They do not evaluate the merit of your concerns related to the sale of taxpayers-owned Beach 1 lands. I took an oath to listen to you, to serve you, to represent you to the best of my ability, and I will continue to do so. I have brought your concerns forward in public meetings, in social media, to the Ombudsman, and to the Ministry of Labor. The concerns I shared with them that day are now being realized. Time always has a way of revealing the truth and who can be trusted. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor, I'm just going to correct you. Last term of council, I did not sign the code of conduct, not because I was concerned about freedom of speech, but because the mayor of the day had it added to the code that he could direct any and all staff, which, as we know, was later taken away because it is completely inappropriate. That is why I did not sign that code of conduct. Janice and Jeffrey, did you have anything that you wanted to add before I make comments and open it up to members of council?
No, Madam Mayor, I think that we've said it all in the report.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your thorough investigation into this matter. These investigations cost the taxpayers of the community financially. However, breaking the code of conduct, misleading the public, and undermining a council-approved and rigorous process we have followed to redevelop the town's beachfront property is unconscionable and negatively impacts and costs our community as well. On 4 separate occasions this term, Councillor Belanger has been subjected to Integrity Commissioner complaints that he has been found guilty of breaking the code of conduct. These investigations are time-consuming and costly to the taxpayer, but necessary in order to keep Council's ethical framework intact. I will be supporting the recommendation of the Integrity Commissioner today, and I will open it up for members of Council. And Councillor Foster, I believe I saw your hand.
Your Worship, it was going to be a two-parter. The first was just a point of order about making comments after the vote was taken, but you've addressed that already. I guess there's just a little comment maybe to the Integrity Commissioners. This code of conduct is applied equally to every member of council. Is that correct? Okay. Just wanted to make sure that
Yes.
you know, it's every one of us falls under exactly the same rules, and yet here we are. I had more, but I'll let it go at this point.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of council? Deputy Mayor Bray?
Thank you, Mayor Fulci. Very disappointed that 3.5 years into this term, we're sitting here once again with an Integrity Commissioner complaint where a councillor has been found to be in breach. As pointed out, it is the 4th, and I think we do all need to be aware of the rules and follow the rules. We signed that code of conduct this term. And just to correct something that was said a little earlier, as per Mayor Fulci, I did not sign the code of conduct in the first term of council because the mayor of the day had chosen to give himself the power to direct staff, which I fundamentally disagreed with. We had an employee satisfaction survey, and eventually that right was taken away from him, and that code of conduct was signed by all 7 members of council. And I believe all 7 members of council continue to follow that code of conduct through last term of council. So very disappointed to be here today with Janice and Jeffrey and spending taxpayer dollars, but I do feel that it is very, very important that we all live up to the same standard. And I would encourage anybody watching that has access to this report to please spend a little bit of time and read the analysis section. It's a very detailed report. You can see the effort, the research, the hard work that our Integrity Commissioners put into providing a fair and balanced report. And this report confirms the integrity of the process that's being followed to redevelop our beachfront lands. And if you were to read social media, you would think that this council was doing things that are wrong. I think this report clearly points out to any and all that are watching, we are not. We do have your best interests at heart, and we are doing what is best for the town of Wasaga Beach. So please take a few minutes and read this report, and you'll hopefully come away with a little bit more information than you had going into it. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I have a motion here that having been found to have breached the code of conduct for members of council of the town of Wasaga Beach, the remuneration paid by the town to Councillor Belanger be suspended for a period of 30 days commencing with his next pay period. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Kinney and Councillor Foster. Councillor Belanger, will you be pushing back from the table and not voting on this? Okay, so Councillor Belanger is pushed away from the table. All those in favor? And that is carried 6-0, and Councillor Belanger is back at the